Good morning and welcome to St. Martin, Grand Casse Airport. This is the French side of the island. And we are back in, I should say, the mighty Cessna 152. Now, I forgot to change my registration number from flying the jet yesterday, so that's what that is. So I haven't flown this plane in a long time, and I always have so much fun doing it. So I figured let's get in it. All right, rotating beacon on. Mixture is rich. Carb heat is cold. Master switch is on. There is no fuel pump, but there is a fuel lever. And let's crack the throttle. Engage the starter. Got a good start. Let's see here. 1200 RPM is good. Alright, let's turn the rest of our switches on here, except for the landing light. We don't want that on yet. It wouldn't be Microsoft Flight Simulator if we weren't about to be hit by a truck. So we'll just, yeah. 1018 is the altimeter. I just checked this a second ago. Alright. So let's release the parking brake here, and let's lean the mixture for taxi. And let's get turned around here. Apply the brakes here real quick. We just need to put in our proper radio frequency here. I haven't flown this plane in a decent amount of time, and it's so much fun to fly. So I just decided to get into it today and give it a whirl. It takes a lot of reconfiguring to switch among airplanes, which is kind of a pain. In Microsoft Flight Simulator, you've got to change all your configurations around, and I don't know, all your settings and blah blah blah. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but Grand Casse traffic, Cessna 4753 X-ray taxiing to runway 12 position Alpha, Grand Casse. I don't remember which airplane I'm flying here. And this is the Payware Airport of Grand Casse, which is they've done a really cool job here. Looks really nice. There's a little American Eagle plane. Looks like this little Cessna is eager. I mean, you barely touch the throttle and it gets running. So let's see, this runway is 4,000 feet. That's plenty of runway to take off here from intersection Alpha. Alright, so we're going to fly over to St. Barts, and then we'll see what the mood hits us over there. So let's turn our landing light on. Carb heat is cold. We'll go mixture rich. I don't see anybody coming down final. The runway looks clear. Grand Casse traffic, Cessna 4753 X-ray taking runway 12 for departure to the south. Grand Casse. And what do you know? I mean, it's just beyond comprehension. Alright, we'll put in full power. Power is looking good. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed is alive. 65 knots and rotate. And actually, I really should have, now that I see the takeoff run, I really should have gone back and gone the full length of the runway. But that's alright. Climb at like 75, 80 here. And fun part of flying this plane is just getting to see all the scenery. You know, got our boats over there in the little harbor. Looks like I might have some wind today. A little bit windy. It seems anyway. The 070 at 12 knots was the wind down at the surface. So, low and slow.
Juliana traffic, Windward 303 is taxiing at runway 10 via Alpha Taxiway, Juliana traffic.
We'll power back to 24. Oh, cool, look at that. That place right down there, I think I went to that hotel in, as a matter of fact, I know I did, in September when we were down in St. Martin. I forget the name of it. But it has a gorgeous view from that swimming pool right there. That pool, this little bar right in there, has a gorgeous view of St. Martin. Or St. Barts, rather. Alright, 2400 RPM. 1500 feet. And, yeah. Ain't bad, right? Ain't bad. See that landing light shining bright, and that's the whole idea, is to make your airplane as visible as possible. You know? So I really I'm kind of a little bit bummed I remembered to do everything except change the registration on the plane. But I love this like teal, turquoise green and blue livery that I got for this plane, because it makes it very I think it's very Caribbean to me. Really kind of cool. This would be the perfect airplane to fly around the Caribbean with. It really would be. I actually saw a woman on. There's a webcam at Juliana Airport, that watches the runway, and you can listen to the tower communications. And I think it was last summer, there was a woman, female pilot from Florida. I looked up the registration of her plane. From Florida, who had flown from Florida all the way down to St. Martin in a 150. I don't remember if it was a 150 or a 152. Doesn't really make a huge difference, but to the story anyway. She flew from Florida to St. Martin in a 150 and continued on down, I believe. I forget where she finished, but it was pretty cool seeing somebody that would take this airplane and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna go fly, over 1,200 nautical miles of open ocean in a single engine 100 horsepower airplane. I thought it was pretty cool. The St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 4753 X-ray is 10 miles to the north, inbound runway 10 St. Bart's. So in other regional news, the Aerosoft came out with the Twin Otter, which is of course a staple of Winair and Eastern Caribbean flight. I haven't seriously considered buying it yet. I mean, I think it's a cool plane, but I don't know if, because I like actually learning the planes that I fly, and I don't know, to be honest, if I would put in the time to really learn that plane. It's got, I think those are turbine engines on it. I think. I could be wrong about that. Got a cargo ship off the nose there. See, and this is the fun part about flying this plane, is there's not a lot to do. Get a great view. Not going too fast. It's fun. St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 4753 X-ray is on a 3-mile left base, runway 10 St. Bart's.
Juliana traffic, Windward 303 is taking off runway 10.
So I'm guessing he's probably flying over this way. Could be wrong, but that's actually Winair right there, the person who was just on the radio. That little island there is Sugarloaf, and that's one of the, you can see actually right over here, there's an airplane that just took off. A nice sailboat over there. Alright, keep an eye out for other traffic. And once we hit Sugarloaf here, let's go carb heat on. That's always your first power reduction in the Cessna, because pulling the carb heat reduces the power. See, I was at 2400, nah, back to about 23. Now we'll bring it back to 2000. St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 4753 X-ray, Sugarloaf inbound 10, St. Bart's. Come back to 2000, maybe 1900. Get back into flap range here. Put in that first notch of flaps. Alright, yeah, we are getting a left crosswind, that's for sure. St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 4753 X-ray, short final 10, St. Bart's. Next notch of flaps. Got those numbers in my windscreen here. A little bit more power out. Yep. See, that number keeps moving up in my windscreen, and that's not what I want. Power is all the way out now. And let's see here. We're going around. Power, carb heat, at positive rate. Let's walk the flaps up. And St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray going around St. Bart's. Next notch of flaps. And you know, it's funny, I went around yesterday in the Islander here at St. Bart's, and I mentioned this in that video as well, that the go-around is a positive maneuver. It's not a bad thing. You know, people, I mean, even, you know, pilots in real life, so to speak, will say, oh geez, you know, you know, go around is a failure sort of thing. And you know, I could have tried to force that on. First of all, I was dropping at 1500 feet a minute, which is just way too steep, even though my airspeed wasn't too bad. St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, left base, left downwind, runway 10, St. Bart's. Put the power to 2300 here. Enjoy the views here a little bit. How pretty this is. I love how the sun reflection on the water. Look at that. St. Barts, traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, turning left base, runway 10, St. Barts. Sugarloaf. But, you know, forcing it down, I would have had to push the nose down. There's really one thing I never, ever like to do when trying to land in any airplane is pushing the nose down. It just generally does not bring about anything good. Alright, power off. Alright, excuse me, carb heat on. Go power back to 1900. Stay level. And the reason you stay level, if you stay level and bring the power back, your speed will drop. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, Sugarloaf inbound 10, St. Barts. And so I elected not to bring the power, or excuse me, push the nose down, which I think was the right choice. Is always the right choice. And you know, I just too high, descending way too rapidly, and you know what, add power, go around, no big deal. Drop a little power here, add some flaps, keep the nose down, and just start to see those numbers already. I haven't really been dialing in my St. Barts landings lately. There was a time when I was really pretty confident in it. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, short final 10, St. Barts. This one's much better. Power's out. I mean, it's still not exactly what I'd like, but decent crosswind landing. If anything, I'll give myself credit for that crosswind landing. Got somebody out there on their little kite board there. Kind of cool. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, backtracking runway 10, St. Barts. Mixture's leaned. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-rays, clear the runway, St. Barts. So mixture's lean. Let's put the flaps up here. And I think what we're gonna do for fun is do another St. Barts lap here. I shouldn't expect to be nailing them in this airplane. I haven't flown this airplane in forever. Alright, let's see here. Let's check our trim. A little bit nose up is good. Alright, mixtures, rich, flaps are set. Alright. St. Barts, traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray taking runway 10 for departure to stay in the pattern, St. Barts. And Cessna 47, the November 4753 X-ray is the Cessna 150 of my flying club here in New York. And that's why I use that number here. Alright, so everything, heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power coming in. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed's alive. 60, 65, and rotate. I hate those kind of takeoffs where I jerk it off the runway. So we are airborne. Whoa. Turn to a heading of 060. Climb out at 75. I really don't like those takeoffs where you just abruptly jerk it off the runway. It's something I try to do a good job of. People always talk about landings. They very rarely talk about making good takeoffs. To me, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to make good takeoffs, right? You were starting to get those towering clouds back here in the Caribbean. Like, that's a legitimate midday Caribbean cloud, and that's some legitimate midday Caribbean rain. We didn't have a lot of that around here lately. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, left downwind 10 St. Barts. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is some legit Eastern Caribbean weather right there. Alright, 2300, push the nose down. These people are so lucky to live in such a beautiful place. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, turning left base runway 10 St. Barts. Alright, let's put... Oh! We didn't. Did I take off with the carpet on? I took off with the carpet on. You know, I kind of wondered, honestly. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, Sugarloaf, inbound 10 St. Barts. You know, if you go back and listen to where I said takeoff power is set, you'll hear a hesitation in my voice. You know why? Because the takeoff power wasn't looking real good, and honestly, that's pretty inexcusable on a short runway. Because, geez, and this is also why I think St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, short final 10 St. Bart's. This is also why I think that flight simulation is invaluable. Because boy, would I rather do that in a simulator than in real life. And it's weird how you just kind of know something ain't right. Alright, power's all the way out now. And see how that number is disappearing under the nose? I mean, it's coming back out, but again, look at my vertical speed. Alright, power in. Carb heat off. Positive rate. Walk the flaps up. St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray going around St. Bart's. Walk up that second notch of flaps. I'm gonna try something different this time. Try something just a little bit different this time. St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, left downwind 10 St. Bart's. And you say to yourself, well, what are you going to try differently? So what I'm going to do, $2,300 RPM. Come on. 2,300 RPM. Look how vivid those trees look. The colors. Just awesome, I think. Alright. A little bit of an early turn here and stay out of that cloud. St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, left base 10 St. Bart's. Alright, let's go carb heat on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and stay at 1,500 feet until I see the numbers. Then I'm going to St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, Sugarloaf inbound 10 St. Bart's. There's the first notch of flaps. Not going to stay at 1,500 if I'm descending, am I? Answer to that question is no. Alright, and there's 65. Alright, here's another notch of flaps. Power to 1500. And let's go. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, short final 10 St. Barts. See, and I'm getting above it already. When that number, that 10, starts moving up in my wind screen, my view, that means I am going above the path that takes me to that number. Excuse me, when the number starts going up, it means I'm going below it. When the number starts going down, it means I'm going above it. And I was getting above it there. This, I mean, I'm comfortable with, but it's still not really good. And in fact, I'm going around. There's power in, carb heat in, positive rate, first notch of flaps up. Watch that airspeed. It's two things that matter right now. Airspeed and climbing. Get rid of that next notch of flaps. And so what have we had? 4 tries and we're 1 for 4. That's not real good. That is not real good, folks. I was watching a video yesterday of when I flew in here in real life with my friend John, who flies Islanders down here. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, left downwind, runway 10 St. Barts. And he's just a better pilot than I am. There's just no way about it. Of course, he's a professional pilot. I mean, he's got thousands of hours in Islanders, so I suppose I shouldn't sit here and knock myself over the fact that he can do this well and I can't, but it's just he makes it look so easy. And I think a lot of people who fly the St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, left base, runway 10 St. Barts. I think a lot of people who fly into St. Barts in simulators just kind of, I don't think they're really approaching it with a plan per se. Like, I think it's just, I think that might be the thing that's actually even more frustrating. Is like, I'm trying to do this the way it's meant to be done, and I'm having a tough time doing it. Alright, notch of flaps. And you see these guys just kind of cramming in here. St. Barts, traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, Sugarloaf inbound, 10, St. Barts. And these guys just kind of improv, and they're too fast, and they're too this, and they're too that, and they can make their landings, and I can't. So, 75 miles an hour. So I guess maybe I shouldn't put in that next notch of flaps. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray short final 10 St. Barts. I guess maybe I shouldn't do what I did the last 4 times. I don't know. Yeah, I should just try to come in a little bit flatter like I'm doing right now. 700 feet a minute, 65 knots. Not looking too bad. Power back a little bit. Power all the way out. There we go. Look at this. Not bad. One thing that bugs me in Microsoft Flight Simulator is you cannot use your ailerons for crosswind correction, which is what you would normally do. So I think it makes the ground handling really kind of squirrely. Hello, folks. And what I mean is, like, if you are on the ground, if you're on the ground and you have a crosswind like we have here, you see that? That's a crosswind coming in like this. You know, it's not a straight crosswind, it's a kind of a quartering crosswind. But you would use your ailerons in this crosswind in real life on the ground, because otherwise the airplane will flip over. I mean, you can wind up tipping over onto a wing. And now what we're going to do is close the carb heat. Lean the mixture. But you can't do that in Flight Simulator, because if you do, the airplane tilts. I don't know. So you wind up having to hold rudder to plenty of fuel. You wind up having to hold rudder to keep that, to kind of straighten the plane out on the ground, and it doesn't really work very well. Alright, let's put the flaps up. Carb heat is cold. Mixture is rich. I haven't heard anybody call, so let's go. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray taking runway 10 for departure to stay in the pattern, St. Barts. I'm going to do one more, if I can get one more landing that's pretty decent, I'm going to be happy enough for today. Okay. Heading indicator checks for the runway number. Flaps are set, carb heat is cold, mixture is rich. Takeoff power coming in. That's more like it. That's the takeoff power I was talking about. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed is alive. 60 knots. And rotate. See that? How that was so much smoother, that rotation? And we turn to a heading of 060. That's so we don't hit those mountains over there. Alright. Kind of a roundish pattern when you're doing pattern work here because of the terrain, really. I mean, you don't want to fly over the top of these houses, even if it really is where your pattern would be. Just not polite. I think we're gonna have some fun going back to St. Martin, huh? St. Barts, traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, left downwind, 10 St. Barts. Doesn't really get boring doing this, to me anyway. And I really think this has aviation value, like... Particularly this airplane, I think, is very, very well modeled. In-flight simulator, I think it's very well modeled. And what I mean by having aviation value is it's like, this is practice for me, doing pattern work like this. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray turning left base, runway 10 St. Barts. Alright, we'll put the carb heat on. We'll wait till we get the 10 right there on that hash mark, and that's how we know that we're on a perfect left base. Check the approach area here. I don't see any traffic. Bring down some power. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, Sugarloaf inbound 10 St. Barts. Power back. Continue our turn. Let's put the flaps in, that first notch of flaps. 1700 on the power. Alright, carb heat is on. First notch of flaps. Coming down 700 feet a minute. 80 is a little faster than I want to be, but it's going to settle a little bit. Watch, see how that airspeed keeps calming down just a little bit. I wasn't worried about it. Put that second notch in now. Power back to 15, keep the nose down. Nose wants to pitch up when you put that second notch of flaps in. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, short final 10 St. Barts. Alright. 65 knots, 800 feet a minute. I'm pretty happy. See how that number is moving down? That means take a little power out because you're getting high. Take more power out. Alright. Touch of power in. And now it's all the way out. Just let it settle. It's going to come down. Yep. All good. Bring the nose up a bit just to bleed off some of that speed. See, it doesn't look like a big deal in the simulator. That landing, you might think, it's not so bad. If you were in a real airplane, the side load that you would have felt on that landing would have been one of those ones where it's like, it just would have felt, it would have been uncomfortable. I mean, uncomfortable to the extent that you would have been like, yay, a little bit nervous. Lean the mixture a little bit. Let's put the carb heat in. Because I essentially landed on the downwind wheel, and that's not what you want to do. I landed on the downwind wheel moving towards that direction, which is even worse. Everything was really good. I was lined up right on center line. I was lined up on center line. I think I noticed the landing before this one. That I had too much aileron in for the amount of crosswind that there was, and I noticed the same thing right there. So I've got an idea. Let's do one more. Let's do one more and really nail it. That one was, I mean, it was pretty good right up until I touched down. I mean, one of the other things I was like, was in my mind as that was happening was not to land flat, like all three wheels at the same time. And I think, you know, I've talked about before that landing is really about managing energy. And I think that if I go back and watch this video again and look at my airspeed as I was coming over this hill, it was too high. Because my vertical speed was down here. And so that airspeed would have gotten a little high. And that's why I kind of, you know, I keep touching down by Charlie. You know, so anyway. Alright, carb heat is in, flaps are up, mixture's rich. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, taking runway 10 for departure to stay in the pattern, St. Barts. And this airplane won't stall until 45 miles an hour. Or is it knots? I don't know. Probably should know. Alright, is the airspeed indicator knots? It is knots. So, yeah, 65 knots is a little bit quick. Alright, takeoff power is coming in. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed is alive. 65 and rotate. See how the nose just automatically points to the left after you take off? It's because that's where the wind is coming from. And the plane is just going to angle itself right into the wind. Alright, heading a 060. And you may have noticed I like to do things pretty consistently in the plane. I don't like a lot of variation in what I'm doing. I can turn, you know, my patterns tend to be very repetitious, and like my mental processes of like when I do things and where I do things. And I don't think that's a matter of being rigid. I think if you have a good way of being consistent, then it helps you kind of eliminate variables, and it gives you the opportunity to if things are consistently similar, you know, the way you do things, it allows you to make little adjustments. I don't know if that makes sense. If you're always doing something in a different way, different speeds, different bring the power back here. If you're always doing something different ways, like your speeds aren't consistent, you're not consistent where you apply flaps, where you apply carb heat, you're not consistent with the altitude you fly in a pattern, you're not consistent with where you make your turns, then how do you make adjustments? You know, if I say to myself, okay, St. Barts, traffic Cessna 53 X-ray turning left base runway 10 St. Barts. So right there, I know I was a little bit fast, a little bit more energy than I want to have. Tiny bit higher than I want to be. If I know those things, then I can make adjustments off of the consistent patterns that I fly. Whereas if I'm doing something different every time, then each adjustment will give me a different result. In other words, I'm really just kind of, it's new every time. Whereas this way, it's the same every time, and so I can make adjustments and have a pretty decent idea of how that adjustment is going to play out. I don't know, maybe I talk too much. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, Sugarloaf inbound, 10 St. Barts. Alright, power coming down to 17. I'm gonna put in that first notch of flaps. And the power is definitely lower than 17, I can hear it. Alright, carb heat's on. St. Barts traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, short final 10 St. Barts. Let's put that next notch of flaps in. See the numbers right there. Alright, a little bit slower this time, 60 knots. I'm going to try to keep that number from moving down. I don't want you moving down. A little bit of power out, a little bit more power out. A little bit of power in now, 60 knots. A little bit. Power's all the way out. Gonna get a little flutter here. No big deal, airspeed is good. Alright, now we're in good shape. Let's look for that center line. A little bit of right rudder. Look at that. Wasn't perfect. Was not perfect, but geez, it was good. It was good. It was not perfect, but that was good. Put on my brakes here, put the carb heat in, especially on a sandy area like this. Carb heat is unfiltered air. St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray backtracking runway 10 St. Bart's. Carb heat is unfiltered air getting into your carburetor. And which means if there's sand, dirt, debris, rocks, whatever on the runway, which is certainly conceivable here, it's possible that that stuff gets into your carburetor, which would not be good. St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, clear the runway, St. Bart's. So now let's put the flaps up. So I am pretty satisfied. Got enough fuel. I am pretty satisfied with our efforts here today at St. Bartholomew. And I think you can definitely see that at the end of my pattern work here, I was definitely doing a lot better than at the beginning. So carb heat is cold, mixture is rich, flaps are up. Let's go. St. Bart's traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray taking runways 10 for departure to the north, St. Bart's. And one thing I don't like is I don't like making good landings without knowing really why they're good or not being able to reproduce that good landing. Alright, let's go takeoff power in. Mixture is full forward, carb heat is cold, flaps are up. Making sure. Takeoff power is looking good. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed is alive, 65 knots. And rotates. Again, you notice that that nose pitches right into the wind, right in the same direction as that thing essentially. Turn to a heading of 060. And I feel like if I come back here after this bout of touch and goes today, if I come back here in this airplane next time, my landings will be better than they were at the start of the day today, and that's what you're looking for. So this weather looks cloud deck looks kind of low. What do you think we should do? We are VFR, so
This is Juliana Royal Ever Air First landing on runway 10.
well, Let's stay down at 1,000 feet here. Pull some power out, level off. To 2400, 2400 RPM. Say goodbye to St. Barts. That was a good time. Let's go here. Get a nice view of the island as we leave. There's Saba off in the background. Pretty cool, huh? I certainly think so. Come around here, get our view of where we're going. So I think 1,000 feet should keep us under this this weather, you know. My friend Zarnell and I were flying around here yesterday, and we noticed that the clouds look a lot more realistic. And I think the live weather is looking really pretty good too in this area. This is very typical weather for around here. Kind of these really tall buildups, and you know, low, kind of flat bases. Little patches of rain here and there. Very typical for this area. And this airplane is actually certified for IFR flight, so yep, day-night VFR IFR, you see it there. One thing that I didn't know, and I bet you a lot of pilots don't know, is that one thing that you need for an IFR certified airplane is you need an IFR altimeter. And I would bet you money that most pilots don't know there's such a thing as a VFR altimeter. And most pilots, when you're talking about equipment requirements for IFR, they will always say a sensitive altimeter. And you say to them, well, what is a sensitive altimeter? And they'll say to you, well, a sensitive altimeter is an altimeter with a Colesman window. And the Colesman window is that thing right there on either side, right here and right here, that allows you to adjust. I'm gonna move it just so you can see. So yeah, you move that, and the needle on the face moves. So it's an adjustable altimeter. And a lot of pilots will say to you, that's what a sensitive altimeter is. And they are wrong. And this isn't a matter of me being cooler than they are, because a year ago or so I would have given you the same answer and I would have been wrong. 1017 is the altimeter here right now. Make a quick radio call here. Where am I going? Grandcast traffic, Cessna 53 X-rays, 10 miles to the south at 1,000 feet inbound for runway 12 Grandcast. I hope it's runway 12. I do this all the time. TFFG, let's check and see what. Runway 12, sweet, I got it right. So what's the difference? See those 20-foot markers? See, that's 0, this is 1,000, that's 2,000, 3,000, etc. See 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82. Those 20 foot markers are what makes this altimeter sensitive. Because you can, let's say you're, let's see here. Let me pull up an approach. I've got one handy. It is the ILS 10 approach at PRCO. It just happens to be the one I have open on my iPad in front of me. So the minimums on that approach are, and look how cool this weather looks. So the minimums on the approach that I'm looking at right now are 265 feet, right? Now a VFR altimeter would have 0, 50, 100, 50, 200, 50, etc., right? Now, how do you see what is 265 feet on an altimeter like that? It's kind of tough. You know? And by the way, this is a good time to put on carb heat and add a little power. The reason you put on carb heat in weather like this is because all clouds are is visible moisture. That's all a cloud is. It's visible moisture. And the air, when it's going through the carburetor, can drop as much as 70 degrees. So we look right here. Okay, it's right now it's 55 degrees, 60 degrees at the altitude that we're at. I bet you realistically it's probably higher than that. I doubt that's correct. Let me look and see if that's correct. There's the airport that we're going into, so we should keep an eye on the 17 degrees Celsius. It might be correct. Anyway, so let's say the temperature is 60 degrees, right? Well, what's 60 minus, and you can say, well, you can't get ice at 60 degrees, right? You can't. And you would be correct about that, except, what's 60 minus 70? Negative 10. Can air freeze at negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit? Or can water freeze, excuse me, at negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit? Yes, it can. And so when you're flying through, when you have a carbureted engine like this plane, and you're flying through kind of low, I mean, this is, you know, it's not clouds really, but you can see, you know, this misty kind of muck. That can turn to ice in your carburetor, and if you get carb ice in this plane at 1,000 feet over the ocean, as my instructor would say, it would increase your pucker factor. Because that engine's going to start coughing and losing power. And where are you going to land this airplane right now if the engine quit? You're going to land this airplane in the water is where you're going to land it. Not something I'm really interested in doing. There's a plane right down there. I wonder what he's doing. A jet at 500 feet. Grand Cast traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray is on a left downwind at 1,000 feet for runway 12 Grand Cast. Yeah, and that is... And the plane at 500 feet going over to St. Barts, you should call your position. Because that was a Vatsim aircraft, and I mean, it's kind kind of crazy to be on Vatsim. The whole point is to communicate, and you're bombing around at 500 feet above the water with other traffic around and not talking. There he is right there. And Grand Cas traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray turning left base runway 12 Grand Cas. So we'll come around until this 12 is right on this hash mark, and then we know we are on a perfect left base for the runway. And people like that make you nervous when you're flying. Look at these clouds, these are so great. Alright, we'll bring the power back here. Grand Cas traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray turning final runway 12 St. Barts. Grand Cas.
Morning down there.
Hi, just want to let you know I'll report you to Vatsim for this. Thanks a lot. Alright, we're gonna go around. Because this guy... Grand Cas traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray breaking off the approach. Grand Cas. Hey Matthias, ich hab das auf Video, mein Freund. Das wird zu Vatsim geschickt. Viel Spaß. What a jerk. Alright, we're gonna go over to... back to 2400. It's people like that that ruin and I have to say they are very, very few and far between. But this guy's a real putz. These guys are real putz. really kind of unfortunate that this guy's doing this because I was having a lot of fun. St. Martin traffic, Cessna 53 X-rays on a 3-mile left base 10 St. Martin.
Caribbean 457, takeoff, runway 10, Princess Juliana traffic.
Hey Matthias, I have that on video and I'm going to be sending this to Vatsim. You're not the type of person that really should be on here. And I have your Vatsim ID and photos and video, so enjoy the rest of your day. Alright, let's bring the power back here a little bit. I wonder if there's any ATC around here. There is not. Let's focus on what we're doing here. Alright. Carpy is out. Let's bring the power back. Get some speed off here. Alright, we're gonna go first notch of flaps. Juliana traffic, Cessna 53 X-ray, turning a 2-mile final runway 10 St. Martin. Okay. Good shape. Alright, mixture is rich, carpy is on, flaps are set. I think there's kind of a skidding turn right there, you can see it. A little bit of power. Alright. Okay, nice and easy. Power is out, level off. Nose up, just a little bit of right rudder. Right on center line. So that wasn't really what I was hoping to do during my flight today, get into an argument with somebody, but you know, what are you gonna do? I mean, you do realistically get bozos in real life who do stupid things in airplanes, and sometimes you gotta deal with it. I was gonna go into Grand Cass, And I just thought to myself, you know what? If you're gonna kind of be dealing with this, then what you're gonna be better off doing is going over and landing at a bigger airport. And that's what I would have done in real life. And so that's what I did here. Kind of, you know, a little bit weird, but the whole thing. But I do have his Vatsim ID, and I do have his name, and I do have pictures and video. So, and I am gonna report that guy because that's nonsense. You shouldn't be doing that. It was bad enough when let's go mixture idle cutoff, throttle is at idle, carb heat is cold, flaps are up. Let's put on the parking brake. Turn off our lights. It's bad enough when you know, flying at 500 feet above the water and not, you know, broadcasting where you are and what you're doing, which is the whole point of Vatsim. But to then come around and buzz me a couple times, nah. I think we'll report him for that. And I think there is a Win airplane coming in. But anyway, so that was an interesting experience. So anyway, it was a good flight over to St. Barts. I enjoyed the touch and goes. That's Saba off in the distance. This ship is actually there. It was there when we were in St. Martin. When we were in St. Martin, we stayed right over here at this hotel. Doesn't look like that in real life, but and so you could watch the planes taking off and landing. You'll see the videos on the other videos on my page from St. Martin, and that's where some of them were taken. And that ship was sitting out there, and the reason it's sitting there, well, at that time anyway, this is September, and the reason it was sitting there is because it's empty, and they got to put it somewhere, so they put it there. And so anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the flight. It was an interesting one, and talk to you later.